Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Bury Tomorrow, Cannibal, out July 3rd on Music for Nations. This album has 11 tracks, 42 minutes in length, and this is the band's 6th full-length studio album. I don't feel like this album breaks with the past of the band, but it definitely takes a few steps towards a different future. The sound is a lot more evolved, there's a lot more texture, it's a lot more layered, and there's definitely this emotional delivery that comes across on every single song. The overall structure of the album is really interesting, and it really allows the record to showcase, to me, at least the way I feel, what it is the motto of this album, which is the struggle between aggression and melancholy, walking that fine line, that balance in your life between the things that oppose you and the things that greet you. I really feel like this is the driving force, the personal touch, if you will, that this record has across all different parameters. Like I said, the structure is perhaps the one where it's more noticeable, but if you go into the overall sound is there, if you go into the vocals is there, and definitely if you go into the lyrics. Going back into the structure, I like what they did. They tried to find that balance. So what they did was they alternated the songs in a way that you don't have similar style tracks coming one after the other. So the album doesn't become monotonous, it doesn't become repetitive. It's not an up and down record, it's not a roller coaster ride, it's more of a speed bump type album where songs tend to sometimes go more towards the melancholic side, some of them goes towards more of the aggressive side. All songs still have those two elements built in within them, but obviously the pendulum will swing more towards the one or more towards the other. It's nearly impossible to find that fine line between both. So the album also tries to find that balance, tries to organize itself in a way that allows the listener to be engaged with it song after song and stay connected across all 11 songs. Beyond the structure, you have to look at the overall sound of the record. Like I said earlier, a lot more evolved, a lot more texture, a lot more layered, and perhaps the reason for that is how the guitars are put together. I really enjoyed the guitar sound overall on the album. I love the solos. I love that when they put a solo onto the track, they brought a little bit of what the song was all about, of the energy of the song. They incorporated that into the solo, allowing it to be more meaningful, to have a much bigger impact, to have a personal touch, to have an emotional connection with the track. I really enjoy that. I also like the breakdowns. I like the overall riffs, the melodies, how aggressive some tracks are, how heavy, how driven they are, and on the other side, how dark, how somber some of them can be. And the guitars have this really wide range of sounds that they're able to go and pick from one side and then take it all the way to the other and vice versa. So overall, a very diverse sounding album, specifically from a guitarist perspective, but very well crafted, very well put together. Definitely one of the highlights of the record. The other highlight is definitely the vocals. What they did on the guitar side, they absolutely matched it with the vocals. Understanding the dynamics of the songs, understanding the emotional baggage that the song had, that personal touch that the song was all about, and then connected with it with the perfect style as far as vocals are concerned. I really enjoyed the clean vocals. Not to say that I didn't like the harsh vocals, because I really enjoyed the aggression that they brought, the intensity that came to the forefront every time the harsh vocals were used on a track. But the clean vocals were not only melodic, and that's perhaps one of the main things that people will gravitate to, is how melodic the clean vocals are. To me, there was another side of it, which was the more atmospheric aspect of the clean vocals, because they became very haunting. They added an aura to the song, they added a different feel, they changed the temperature, the sky cleared, the light came in. It just offered the song something different. It changed everything that the song had to offer when the clean vocals came in. And then when the harsh vocals replaced it, the song completely changed again. So everything that was happening on a musical side with the guitars, it was happening at the same time with the vocals. I like that dynamic. I like that duo. I like that interchanging of parts. Two different elements that have the same way of working together really allows the album to have, like I said, an overall very robust texture and layered feel to it, both musically and vocally. Overall, this is a very good album with incredibly crafted songs. The only thing that I found that was a little bit lackluster, if you will, is when you try to walk that fine line, find that balance between aggression and melancholy, you normally tend to lean towards more one or the other. It's nearly impossible across 11 songs, you're always going to find the sweet spot. It just doesn't happen. On this record, at times, I felt that the pendulum swinged a lot more towards the melancholic side than to the aggressive side. So as I'm listening to the album, I felt more connected with the songs that were aggressively driven, that had more heaviness to it, and that was the main driving force behind the song, even though there were still some melancholic and melodic moments within it. And I felt more disconnected from the melancholic driven tracks. I felt like the air was a little bit let out of the balloon. I just didn't connect with it on an emotional side and then on a musical side, and that left me sometimes wondering or wandering around, waiting for when the next more aggressive song would come in. So to me, that is the only downside of this record. But like I said, that is a hard line to walk. That is a hard balance to find and to follow all the way through 11 songs. We're not talking about an EP here. We're talking about a full-length album. So to me, I wish the pendulum was towards more the heavy side. You could still drive the message home. You can still have an emotional record, but have it more lean towards heavier driven tracks and let the melancholic come in and take a little bit of the sting away, not the other way around. Have a song that doesn't have that power and then you try to infuse it, but it's too late because overall the song is just bringing the mood down. So that to me is the downside of this record, but overall still a very well crafted and magnificent overall sounding album. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Imposter. I actually picked 3 songs that are more heavy driven. Still have the melancholic side to it, still have the melodic side within them, but they're definitely more on the heavier side, and that is the side that's really pushing the songs forward. I mean, this shouldn't be any surprise based on what I just said. So Imposter is the first song that I want to talk about. It's a ripping track, both musically and vocally. From the opening, you just feel like there's a song that has a lot of passion, that has a lot of intensity built into it, and has that aggression that just always feels like it's growing and it's moving and it's building towards something. The chorus comes in with clean vocals and really puts a damper on things. It really slows things down. It really changes the mood of the song, but it allows it to reignite itself once the verses come in. So it's a song that has this up and down feel between the verses and the chorus. Definitely two sides, definitely two faces, if you will, and how this song is put together. The guitar solo to me is one of the important elements that really allows the song to come together, because the solo brings in elements from both sides. It brings elements from the more aggressive side and brings elements from the more melancholic, melodic side, and it merges them together and extends the song, and it allows the song to perhaps find a more a better balance, if you will. To me, this is a really well-crafted song, and while it has two polar opposites with the verses and the chorus and how they sound and how they feel, the way the solo comes together, the way the solo merges those two worlds and how he unifies the song, it really allows it to be a better balanced overall track, and one of the songs that should be the prototype perhaps of how the whole record sounds, and in my opinion sometimes that's not the case. The next track that I have to talk about is my absolute favorite song on the album, and that is The Agonist. I love this track. It opens very strong, very fast, is melodic, is heavy. It really has a mixture of these two worlds. It combines them very well, and it's definitely a song that keeps pushing you forward. You always feel like this song is moving at a very high tempo, and it's not stopping for anything. The chorus has a little bit of a different sting. It has a little bit of a different feel. Clean vocals come in. They have not necessarily a melodic feel to them, but definitely more of a haunting aspect to it. They're definitely a lot more emotional, and they bring a different overall atmosphere to the song, but still merging very well with a more aggressive side of the track. An absolute banger, a song that in my opinion is built for a live setting. The way it's built with this start and stop, start being the verses, stop being the chorus, it just has all the condiments. It has all the right pieces in order to be a perfect live track, because it will ignite the audience, will give the audience the chance of settling down and then reigniting itself every time the chorus is over and the verses kick in. I love it. It's very contagious. It has a great approach. The chorus is very simple, very catchy, very hooky, and that simplicity allows it to be very catchy and very hooky. The harsh vocal bridge towards the end of the song that then merges into this absolutely haunting guitar melody that fades away as the song finishes is the perfect way of bringing these two worlds together. Talk about finding a perfect balance between aggression and melody. Another song that in my opinion finds that perfect balance in the way that it's structured. You have that verses against the chorus, and then how you build that harsh vocal bridge with that incredible melodic guitar melody at the end. proves that the song can be put together, built of different parts. Last but not least, Voice in Truth. This is perhaps one of the heavier, if not the heaviest song on the album. It's heavy, it's fast, it's driven, both musically and vocally. It doesn't slow down, it just has great momentum, it just has a lot of great force. It's just the song that really pushes the envelope, that you really feel that it has a lot of power and strength behind it. Great guitar sounding song. I really love what they did as far as the guitars are concerned. I love how they sound on this track. I love how they're put together. The solo is magnificent. It comes at the middle point, so this is a song that has more of a traditional structure where you have a versus chorus, solo versus chorus. It has more of that kind of feel. It's not as fluid, it's not as dynamic, it doesn't change directions as often. It has more of a standard feel to it. It has more of a traditional structure, sound, in the way it's put together. But that allows the song to be very robust, to be very big, to have this big wall of sound and be absolutely heavy and demolishing. Like I said, I really believe that this is the heaviest track on the record, or at least one of the heaviest tracks on the record. This is it. This is Bury Tomorrow with Cannibal, once again out July 3rd on Music for Nations. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.